Should there be an NFL season?
Should there be?
Should there be?
I think there should be an NBA season. I don't know I can say that there should be an NFL season. I hope there is. I wish there was. I don't think that, given everything I know now, I can say that I'm confident that there should be, because this crisis, this pandemic, is developing still. If this continues, remember, this isn't even supposed to be the second wave, but there's a second wave likely to occur coinciding with the flu season, which is going to add confusion, not to mention overtax the medical system. You sure we should be playing football? 50 guys plus on each team. When you add personnel, 75, 100 people with trainers and everything on each team, 32 teams. We're talking about over 6,000 people. And like, as Sean McVay said, how do you social distance? The point is to do the opposite of social distancing for the defense. The defense wants social closeness on the field. It's a full contact sport. Given the fact that, as last I heard, they're planning on opening the season in Kansas City, meaning they have a decentralized plan, which to me, my mind is an exceedingly bad idea. I also don't think they're being realistic. So I don't think they will complete their season. But at this point, I can't even say that they should play it.
Okay. Let me say this. I've alluded to this on many occasions, Ryan, Max. I'm just gonna put it plain out there for the world to see. I'm sick and tired of these kind of positions, Max. I have to admit it, because I understand the level of seriousness that we're talking about, but I think it's real easy for us to say. You see, I'm on national television and I'm getting paid. And you're on national television, Max, and you're getting paid, and Ryan is as well, and all of this other stuff, and I get it. And so as a result, that even if some of the games are not going on, we still have to find a way to do our jobs to some degree anyway. No one in the medical profession has come to us with a definitive date that things return. We don't know when a vaccine is going to be available. We don't know where a level of normalcy is going to kick in. So by virtue of that, if you have the mentality that the sports leagues themselves don't need to come back, and I'm mainly talking about professional sports, because college is a different animal, and I understand that. But I'm talking about the professional sports league. If you're talking about them not returning, what other businesses are you talking about not returning? And if they don't return, how are people getting paid? And if people are not getting paid, who's subsidizing them and helping to maintain or elevate their quality of life? Because it's going to evaporate before their very eyes. That's the situation that we're living with. And so for me, without a definitive date, if somebody said to me, Ryan, guess what? Dr. Fauci and them came out and said, we're going to have a vaccine by next May. We'll have it by next May 1st. We don't think there should be a season. I understand. I'm backing off. I'm backing down. I'm like, we got to suck this up, get through it. But because of the indefinite portion of that argument, the fact that this could be ongoing for God knows, for years to come potentially. We don't know. What are you talking about? People staying at home? That is not realistic. That is not reality. The reality is that by and large, you're going to have to go into the working world at some point, put on a mask, gloves, wash your hands, engage in social distancing, but you're still going to have to go out there and work, because that's the only way that you're going to have any kind of economy and things are not going to disintegrate before our very eyes. I understand it's not popular. I understand that it's not preferred. I understand that other nations might have handled it differently. Some nations like France, I believe if I remember correctly, Max, might have forgiven all debt. I don't know. But in America, that has not happened. And because that has not happened, and this is our situation, we have to accept it and embrace it and be prepared to move forward. Period.
Ryan, I know you haven't gone. I'd just like to respond to that briefly, and then I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
The specific shape of an economy, in other words, existing jobs, et cetera, are always the excuse to not do the thing that needs to be done. You know, like, well, if we do this, it will disturb what we now have. I don't think that's a good enough excuse. The economy, Stephen A., will get much, much worse if the pandemic increases, if it spreads, if we don't start to not only flatten things, but have it go down as they have in Europe. It will get much worse. So I agree with you that with no end in sight, there needs to be some semblance of normalcy. But what will the new normal look like, and how can that be done responsibly?
That's
and
what we need to
from what I've
prioritize.
heard concerning the NFL so far, it doesn't sound to me, at least they haven't articulated, the NFL, a plan that responsibly sets a new normal to play football. Sorry,
no,
Ryan.
Ryan's got to go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, and that's the huge thing for me. Max spoke about leadership. Our leadership took a different route to get us here. So here we are. Now, I said weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that we are going to have to learn to live with COVID-19 before we ever get a chance to live without it, or if we ever do. So I agree, there has to be some way we get back to a new normal, because that normal won't be normalcy. And when you look at the NFL, here is what I'll say, because I think you both make great arguments. I think there should be an NFL season. But if there is going to be an NFL season, this turns into more of a social experiment in compassion than it does anything else. Because when you talk about the vendors and you're speaking of equipment managers and trainers, now you're going to have to ask these people to put not only themselves as a high priority, but other people, right? What I do away from my work, what I do away from the field can not only affect me, but affect my teammates, affect my coaches, affect the people that I'm working with. Let's go back a couple of months ago to a post by Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott showing that during a time we're supposed to be quarantining or social distancing, they're at some sort of a celebration. And in the caption, they kind of allude to, oh, y'all all worried about this. We are not. Now, fast forward to today. Ezekiel Elliott just tested positive for COVID-19. And so you look at where he was then and where he was now. He didn't respect it then. He didn't understand it. He wasn't taking it seriously. Obviously, he no longer is, or he isn't now. And so you fast forward that to a season where you're asking over 60 people that play football, and then there's a staff, to do the right thing. How do we have a season if these guys can't protect themselves and protect others?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.